a nice meditation. I got good music for this one. So everybody just relax in your seat. So good to be here on a Sunday morning. Nothing else to do, just be. Something comes to mind, just bless it, let it go. Relax your eyes and close them. Center yourself in that oneness that we all share. Now, we make our way back to the here and to the now, to this present moment where we are one with each other and one with the one. That is all good. Spirit. When you feel comfortable, you can open your eyes and come on back. Binary beats. I set it for abundance. So just in case you go out and you find $1 or somebody gives you a check for something. The meditation was for abundance today. There's different frequencies. Who knew? Today I'd like to talk to you about where there's a will, there's a way. So in Unity we have 12 powers, and I handed out those powers to you today so that you could really understand what all the powers are. Now each power has a month associated to it. So when I was back in Michigan, I talked to them about understanding, because that was last month. Last month was understanding. And understanding is, so I want to talk about understanding being wisdom knows how, understanding knows why. Understanding goes deeper. And today we're going to talk about will. And will is our most important faculty. So all of the other 12 powers can't be brought forth unless you will them to come forth. That's why will is so important. They call it our executive faculty. So it is the ability to choose, to lead, and to decide. The disciple associated with it is Matthew, and Matthew represents decision-making, that decision-making part of the brain. Now understand, we believe the Bible is metaphysically interpreted. So we don't believe these were real people. These are meant to be interpreted metaphysically. Metaphysically is just beyond the physical, beyond what you see. So the corresponding color is silver, therefore I wore silver today. And the location of it is the front of your brain. Now, it's our spiritual work to re-educate our will, because we have the power of will given to us by the Divine Spirit. To re-educate means to teach our will, consciously teach it to become receptive to Spirit, rather than pursue materialistic and human wants. You have those human wants? All of us do. But really we need to kind of overcome those human wants. How many times have I caught myself so consumed with my will? I want it my way. My humanness comes forth, and it's very third dimensional thinking. It doesn't leave room for anybody else, and it doesn't leave room for spirit or magic or God or anything else. Our will is something we use all the time as that executive power. But we get to choose. Everything is our choice. When you pick up one end of the stick, you pick up the other end of the stick. It's one of my favorite sayings. Whenever something happens and there's an unexpected consequence that comes with it, I always tell myself, when you pick up one end of the stick, I pick up the other end of the stick. And it mostly happens when I know that I've chosen to do or experience something that is not in alignment with my Christ consciousness. Let me give you a recent example. So, back in Michigan, to my friends and my family, I am not known as Reverend Carol, I'm known as Party Carol. I've been very honest with you about my love for the taste of tequila. But when I went home and I hung out with my nieces and my nephews after the ball game, everybody came back to the casino and we gambled for an hour or so, and we all found ourselves back in the bar all at the same time. So all my nieces and nephews, there was about 10 of us, 12 of us there. Do you know where my story is going? Okay. Well, we were all getting our drinks. Someone suggested shots of Patron. It might have been me. And so we got our shots of Patron and we toasted each other and our love, and then we proceeded to just sit together with these drinks and laughs and fun, talking about our old times and catching up with each other. And we were staying at the hotel casino, and so I wandered up to my bed at 1:30 in the morning when we ended our partying. Party Carol, who was on sabbatical from being a minister, was so happy. And then I woke up the next morning. Yikes. I had fuzzy tequila mouth. You know tequila mouth? No, nobody else knows tequila mouth. I mean, it's that full cottony. It was between tequila and Corona beer because we were chasing them down with Corona beer. And when I went to do my spiritual practice, which is prayer and meditation, I couldn't concentrate. I couldn't do it. See, here in California, I don't drink alone. So the only time I have alcohol is like when I'm with somebody, which is not often. I mean, you know, it's not like we go out from here, we go to the back and we do shots of Patron in the back on Sundays. Although one Sunday it might be an interesting exercise. But I learned the party Carol isn't here anymore when I go home. She's not there, and she's not here either. See, I love my spiritual practices, and not being able to start my day connected to Source, to God, was strange, and it felt wrong for me. And it was so out of alignment of who I be now. I was in harmony with who I be in the world. I was in harmony with who I be in the world. And it was a good lesson for me. When you choose the choice, you choose the consequence. Or when you pick up one end of the stick, what do?
Pick up the other.
Pick up the other end of the stick. So we all have this choice, and we can aim higher or we can fall backwards. We can align our being with God's source and operate our lives from God's will. We can work with our mind when we make our human decisions and catch ourselves in the acts of our humanness and start to train our mind. This little personal revelation came at the middle of my trip. So I was able to really work with myself, and I still had fun, only without overdoing it for my spirit. So when we would go out, I would still have this time with my family, especially those nieces and nephews who I adore, and I thought of Jesus. This is what I thought of Jesus. Turning the water into wine at the wedding. And then having a couple of sips himself. And enjoying those sips of wine, but not overdoing it. And I was able to overcome my humanness, aligning with my divine, who knew how to enjoy a good party and having a good time for everybody. The reward was a personal victory. No one back there even noticed it. But you, my spiritual brothers and sisters, you know that we're all on the spiritual path together. And so I don't like to pretend like I am just so reverend. I am Carol. At home I was party Carol. She's no longer there. I'm Reverend Carol wherever I go. And that's okay. That is okay. So as we shift and we change, it may require us to pull on our will to really call that forth and to make different choices. The rewards of unifying our wills with the will of God is a great spiritual experience and exercise. It results in our health, our happiness, our joy, our peace, our harmony, prosperity, and any other good that we can't even visualize in this current state of consciousness. Learning to activate our divine will in our daily life does not mean that you submit yourself to the humanness of yourself or others. So many inharmonies in our human relationships result from human will. I want it this way, I want it this way, I want it this way, I want it this way. Both ours and theirs. Learning to activate divine will in our lives means that we don't submit ourselves to the human will of others. Instead, we gain a freedom. It's a freedom not to judge, not be so hard, to bend ourselves and recognize when others are acting from their human will. They're on a spiritual path just like I am, but I don't have to submit to their choices. I can call forth love and divine will to choose to respond in a loving way. I can use my power of understanding to know the why of people's choices. Think about Party Carol. Why did she make those choices? She wanted to be part of the party. She wanted to be in on the good time. She didn't know that she could be in on the good time and the party without having to do 10 shots of Patron. I think that was the last count. So. I can free myself from negative energy of any person or situation, from any circumstance, and we can just love. I can allow my love to come forth and wash all over whatever it is. Here I am tuning myself into the frequency of my Christ consciousness, the spiritual core of my nature. I can act our namaste, that Christ in me that beholds the Christ in me. It's so easy to do at church on Sunday. Look at all these people. This is like the cream of the crop. The hard part is to take our namaste, that belief that the Christ in me beholds the Christ in thee, and use it on people out there. I gave a talk at Unity of Downriver on the power of understanding, and I reminded them and myself, it's so easy to do that namaste in church. Everybody's loving and smiling, but we have to practice our namaste outside the doors. And we have to will our love to come forth. We call it through our will. When we're triggered by love and life, there's something going on. Remember trigger? Trigger is not
Horse.
Not just a horse. That's right. Teresa listened to that sermon. Triggers are not just a horse. So when we're triggered, when we catch ourselves being triggered, we're responsible to call forth that faculty of will. Today I invite you now to learn an acronym that Reverend Tony gave me. Always let love lead the way. Allow. Always let love lead the way. Let the love of universal spirit, source, God energy pour forth from you so strongly that there is no conflict of human wills. Imagine if that happened at the polls. I'm just saying, I can dream, can't I? I invite you to experience that there's always a higher power at work in my life and in the universe, God the good, the omnipotent, which establishes order and harmony in all things. My loving and lovely friends, where there is a will, there is a way. Thank you for letting me talk to you today and share my stories.